Hi, welcome to another edition of Fly Tying, the Angler's Art. And tonight we're doing three great flies, have unusual names. We're tying a Wilted Spinach, a Bloody Mary, and a Midge Emerger. I think you're doing the Wilted Spinach first.
Wilted Spinach first. Now, I have no idea where this fly pattern came from. I don't know what it represents. It's just a good, I work part-time in a fly shop. And we started having people come in about 2 years ago. I want a wilted spinach. What in the world is a wilted spinach? So finally we came up with this pattern from someplace, the owner of the shop, and we go through a lot of them. But it's a simple little fly, very effective little fly. We'll start off, we'll use a wet fly hook, a size 10. I'm going to use a 8/0 black thread. You could use a 6/0 for this with no problem. I will use the pearl crystal flash for the tail. The hackle will be a soft hackle. This is a partridge feather. And then the body will be dubbed with the orange. Now, I don't know why the name Wilted Spinach does not have green in it.
It should have green.
It should have, but it does not, so I can't tell you.
Of course, I've never seen wilted spinach, so,
well,
you know.
I don't know that I have either. But all right, I'll dress the hook shank like we always do. And then I'm going to take just one strand out of this. Well, I got two. That's all right. Now what this is, it's a looped tail. And again, I don't know what this represents. I do not have a clue what this is supposed to represent. That little tail could capture light reflections as it goes through the water. It may look like air bubbles, you know, like from a caddisfly coming up. I don't know. Then we'll dub the body. And here's where you think it should be green.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
But they want this orange, and it seems like this is the pattern. You could also use orange thread for this fly instead of the black. Would make no difference whatsoever.
Now, are they using this lake or stream?
Streams.
Stream fishing.
Streams.
Okay.
That's all we heard was wilted spinach for at least 2 years. And it took so long because you'll never find some of these patterns in a pattern book. And where Mark got it, I don't know, but he came up with a pattern, and we started tying it, and it's at times very difficult to keep on the shelf ready for sale. But it's a very, very simple fly, fun fly to tie, and I'm not going to put it in a dubbing loop at all. That synthetic dubbing will go pretty quick. And then just run it forward. Look at that, I guessed the right amount of dubbing.
Hey.
Can you believe that?
On the nose.
Then for the hackle, we'll take a partridge hackle. I pull down, I tie this in from the tip. I pull this down to form just that tip section. There's the little tip, and then I do what you do. I'm going to trim that off a little shorter, but then I'm going to trim those fibers so that now there's just little fibers sticking out there.
Yeah.
Then we'll tie this in by the tip. And then for this fly, this is any soft hackle fly like this. This is about the only time I use a set of hackle pliers.
Me too.
But I just cannot tie the fly unless I use the hackle pliers. And then as you tie it in, just keep stroking the feathers to the rear. You could tie this fly by stripping the side of the hackle that goes against the hook. You could strip that off and make it a little bit sparser. A little bit sparser, is that a good word?
I knew what it meant.
Okay. But that is just a simple, simple little fly. I think the whole thing that sets it off is that loop crystal flash tail. And again, what it represents. But you know, I think if I had one fly that I had to fish with, that I knew I had to depend on that one fly to go out and catch a fish, it would be a soft hackle fly of some kind. I think the fish are more in tune, keyed in to that leg movement, that breathing motion. We'll put a little whip finish on it.
A lot of action on them.
A lot of action on it. Clip that off. Then I'll put a little bit of head cement on it, and that's a simple fly. We couldn't believe it when we first saw the fly because Well, we thought somebody was pulling a joke on us, you know. What in the world are you talking about, a wilted spinach? But I did something here, and I think we got time to do it. I've got head cement in the eye of the hook.
Oh yeah, the little
How do you
trick.
clean it out?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to just take another one of these feathers. You could take any old feather you've been using. I'm going to push I'll clip that stem off a little. I'm just going to push the stem of that feather. It still may be a little thick. Those partridge hackles are on the thick side. I'll push that through the eye, grab it on the other side, and just pull it through. That will totally clean out all the head cement that went through the eye. There's a wilted spinach, has a pearl crystal flash loop tail, a dubbed orange body, and a partridge hackle. And now for our next fly, Carolyn's going to tie a Bloody Mary. I have not seen this fly. I can't even tell you for sure if I've heard of it. I think it would be an excellent lake fly. You've told me some of the lakes you use it in.
Yep.
Anxious to try it.
It's
Carolyn,
also
what will we use?
great on streams.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
Okay.
both places. We're going to use a number 10 hook. We have got a gold bead. We've got a stretch red floss for the body. We're going to ribbit with peacock curl. We've got pheasant rump feather we're going to use for the front hackle, and we're going to use brown goose biots for the tail.
So it is a soft hackle fly?
Yes, it is a soft
good,
hackle
okay.
fly. Okay. Okay, we've got our little bead on here, and we've got our barb mash down on it. So we're going to dress our
And
little
this is
hook.
what, a size 10?
I
you
think
said?
this is a 10, yeah.
Now, is that the size you normally fish it
I
in?
like this one in a 10, yeah.
Okay.
Going to dress our hook. I like to put a little cement on it.
And you know I should do that more than I do.
I get like a good foundation.
Yes.
Okay, and then we're going to put our goose biots on for our tail. And we've got a brown goose biot.
And those are off of a goose. People call, there's also turkey biots, but I like the goose better. It's just off a leading edge of a wing feather.
Right. We're going to lay one of these on each side, right above the bend of the hook. Grab one of these other little guys. And you want to put these down with the tips pointing out.
To the rear.
Right.
And you know, there again, I have goose biots. I fish a few flies with goose biots, but I don't do it as much as I probably should. They make excellent tail material.
Oh yeah, and wing material
Sure.
also. So.
It looks very realistic.
Okay, we're going to put in our peacock curl, and you're just going to use one strand.
Oh, just one?
One strand, yeah.
Oh, because this is just a rib.
This is just a rib.
Okay.
So we're going to lay that down. And now I've got my Chinese red floss laying out here already cut. Of course, I kind of have it in a pile now. This is going to take quite a lot because we want to build this body in kind of a football shape.
Oh, tapered you mean?
Yeah, so he's going to be a chubby little guy. So we're going to tie this in. So I've got this doubled over about 4 times here to make it go a little quicker. We're going to take our thread back up here to the front, and we're going to lay this down and cover up everything underneath. Let's swing this around here.
I was
Do a
going to say
quick
that
hat.
might work a little better,
Yeah,
but I thought
you
you knew
know.
something I didn't.
You should have just butted in, you know,
No,
bossed
I'm
me
not
around.
going to do that.
All you had to do is say, Okay, we're going to run this back.
So you're going back to the rear
Yeah,
again.
we're going to build this up real good here.
That rotary vise makes that so nice to do it. Keeps it even.
Well, when you have a lot of material,
yeah.
it's
So then you'll
speeds
use
it up.
it also, the rotary for the rib.
yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's about the size we want to go there. So we're going to tie this off.
Boy, that really is heavy.
Yep, I want him to look like a red football here. Okay, go ahead and cut this off. Okay, now at this point, usually what I would do is use an adhesive material on this at this point. Coat this whole body all the way over.
Not head cement then.
And then lay this peacock herl into it. Let it dry overnight so your peacock herl sets right into the body. Makes it a lot more durable. It also gives it a nice shine.
It's kind of a gel glue.
Yeah,
then.
a gel glue.
Okay.
But same, you know, for the show, we're just going to go ahead and lay this down.
Well, we don't have time to let it dry.
We're going to lay this in and tie off our peacock.
Well, and when you put that gel on there, it would also protect that peacock from being broken.
Yes, right, because it sets right into the gel.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to trim this off. Okay, and then we're going to take a pheasant rump feather, and I like the blue ones on this fly.
Yeah.
Gives it a little bit more of a sheen.
It's hard to beat that soft tackle. That pheasant rump is just...
And again, I like to use it on the butt end and cut a little comb.
Oh, you tie it in by the butt, not the tip.
Cut a little comb on each side.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to tie this in right behind the bead.
And then it's long enough that it'll encase the whole fly, won't it?
Yeah, and then we're going to trim off the butt here. And for, like you, I like to use a hackle plier.
I just can't make it work if I don't do it.
They're too small. We're going to comb these back as we go around.
Well, and you'll wrap back over them slightly too when you complete it.
And wrap back a little bit.
Oh, that is a good looking fly.
And there we go, a Bloody Mary.
Now what will that represent?
You know, I have no idea, but this is a very effective fly, especially in the springtime.
Okay.
A little touch of red.
Well, it could be, I've seen red chironomids.
Yeah.
But of course, the chironomid doesn't have the bead head on it.
Right, we'll put a little drop of cement up here in the front.
Oh, that's neat. That red really shows up, doesn't it?
And there we go. There's a Bloody Mary. So again, we used the goose biots for the tail. We have a Chinese red stretch floss for the body. And we've laid our peacock herl into it and finished off with a pheasant rump feather and a gold bead. Bloody Mary. Okay, the next fly is a new one for me. It's a
Midge Emerger.
Yeah, Midge Emerger. Now, I haven't seen this one, so what are we using for material?
Oh, it's a neat little fly. In fact, I'm tying it tonight on a 16, which is really large for this fly. I think the pattern book says 18 to 24.
24.
I first came across this little fly fishing in Alberta. Guy was telling, I wasn't catching fish. A guy was telling me he was using a size 22 Midge Emerger. Oh, boy, I didn't have anything that small. So I have come back since then and learned it. But we'll use an 8/0 black tying thread. Now I could also use a 10/0, as small as those flies are. This is a size 16. It'll be black dubbing, Zelon, and this is a real pale gray. You could also use white. And then the ribbing will be a white thread. Now I have a size 16, like I said, in the vise. The barb is pinched. This is a simple fly, but I watched that guy catch a lot of fish, and it's a very, very effective fly.
Streams?
Stream, yes, yes. We'll take a little piece of this Zelon, and I'm going to just cut a little piece off here, because what I'm going to do is pull some of it out. That's a little bit too much for this small of a fly. And that will become the tail. Really, it's not a tail, it's a trailing shuck, if you will. And that is still a little bit more than I like. It's just giving a very, very brief representation of that trailing shuck. And this Zelon will capture light very well. And there's the little trailing shuck. I'm going to clip this off, top section. That's maybe a little bit longer than I like, but there it is. I'm going to tie in just a very short piece of this ribbing, of the white thread that I'll use for ribbing. Now I'm going to double it. This isn't a real thick thread. It's a size 6/0. I could maybe get by with using it, you know, by itself, not doubling it over. But I'm going to go ahead and double it.
That's what you're using for the rib?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I'll get it out of the way for now. Again, I don't use dubbing wax. This is a synthetic dubbing. This fly will just kind of be just in the film. It will not float high. I watched this man fish this fly for a while, and I could not see it all the time. He had a better feel for it by watching his line and leader, of course, than I would. Then we'll run this up, wrap it forward, I should say, about to the thorax area. And you can see it's fairly sparse body. A little bit more on there than I need. I'll just clip it off. And then I will take this rib and I'm going to twist it just to make it one again instead of the two. And then come forward, just ribbing forward as you go. And you can see that white really shows up well against that black. Get rid of the rib. And then we'll do the white Zealon again. I guess I used all that other piece. I'll just cut another small piece off. Cut a little bit too short that time. Then we'll take, again, I'm going to pull some of it out. I don't want all of that in there. It needs to be on the sparse side. And this will become the wing.
So
Laid
pull
back
about
over.
half of that off. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
About half. Tie it in. I don't care how long it is behind there because I'll clip it off. It's also a little bit long on the back side. I'll trim it there. Trim it here. Be careful you don't cut that section off. You just tie it in. And then double little head. I have these now tied down to 18 to 22. I don't think I have anything smaller than that. I asked this man, well, what size leader are you using?
That's what I was going to
7X.
7X.
7X. And you know, a size 22, I don't know that I could get a 7X, tip it through the hole on that small of a fly, but I'm going to try. I will be back up there one day fishing.
And I'm sure it's a really long leader too.
Yes, about 12 feet. And then you just build a small head right here at the front. I'll get rid of that excess. And this fly is used a lot on the Henry's Fork also, I found out after I got back and did a little research on it. Now the next fly I would tie of this, I would make that head a little bit shorter than it is here.
Okay.
That fly will work very well. There's not a problem with it, but I would tie that next one with the head slightly shorter. There's a Midge Emerger, has Zealon for the trailing shuck and wing. It's a black dub body with a white thread rib. And now we have a bonus fly. Have a little bit of extra time, so we will tie a bonus. This is a fly that we have tied before on the show, but this is a different variation of it. I don't know, I came across this fly, I would guess, 2 or 3 years ago. It's a neat fly. I showed it to Carolyn, what?
Neat technique.
A month ago.
Yeah,
Totally new technique. But we're going to tie a woolly bugger for you. We'll talk you through it as we go, this different method of tying it.
Okay.
So Carolyn, what do we use?
Materials we're going to use is a 6/0 black thread. We've got a number 8 streamer hook. We're going to use a gold bead, a black chenille for the body. We've got some black hackle for the front hackle and some black marabou for the tail.
Now you could also tie this in considerably larger sizes too.
Right, and different colors.
And different colors, a lot of different colors.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and dress our hook up. Get the thread back here at the bend of the hook. Cut this off. Do the little glue thing.
Now I remember when I showed you this fly, you were amazed you'd never seen anything like. I mean, woolly bugger, everybody thinks a woolly bugger is, you know, everybody ties it the same way. Well, basically.
Well, I should have thought of it. It's a great idea.
Yes, it really is. It's not my idea. I came up with it someplace. I don't even remember where.
You're not going to take credit?
No, no, won't do that.
Okay, we're going to tie our black marabou here in the back.
For the tail.
For the tail. Okay, we're going to take our chenille.
And this is a large chenille. You could also use a medium if you didn't want such a fat body.
Yeah. And I'm going to lay this the whole length because it is large. I want it to be smooth body along here. Bring your thread back to the back. We're going to tie in our hackle.
Now, do you tie this in by the tip or the butt?
I like to tie the hackle in by the butt. That's the way I was taught, you know, do the little teeth on each side of the stem.
When I first learned this, I found that by tying it at the tip, you get the natural curve of the feather going toward the front so that you actually have the larger section of the feather toward the front.
Oh, towards the front?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
So that's the only reason I do it that way. But the butt will work. I don't think the fish make any difference whether you're front or rear.
Okay, we're going to take that thread back up towards that bead. Try to get all my marabou out of here. And the different technique in this fly is we are going to wrap this hackle and our chenille together. We're going to do a little twist. Well, let's get this going here. Might as well use our little rotating section. We'll throw a half hitch or two in here real quick. Okay, we're going to twist this together.
The chenille and the hackle.
And the hackle. And we're going to lay it down all together here. And what this does, it locks that hackle down.
Where a fish tooth can't get in.
Right, can't rip it off, because that's the first thing you always lose on your woolly bugger is your
like
hackle.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and we're going to tie this down right behind that bead. Just shorten this string up a little bit.
But that's a neat
Cut
fly.
this off.
Also, if you didn't want to have as much hackle on it as you have on there, you could strip half of it off,
Right.
which would give it a much sparser. And you know, a lot of times,
this is a fat one.
Yeah, people don't look at that all the time. If you stop and think, I don't care if you have a bead head on it, if you have it weighted, the more material you have on the hook, the slower the material or the fly will sink. It just stands to reason that the more there is, it captures more air. As you cast that fly, as soon as that fly straightens out behind you and in front of you, it pops all the water out. It's basically now another dry fly till it hits the water, soaks up again.
Unless you put a layer of lead.
Unless you put a layer of lead. And then again, depending on the material, now I've used steelhead flies with a lot of bunny in them.
Yeah.
That it just is unbelievably slow to go down. But that's a neat, indestructible, if you will, woolly bugger, and everybody uses them. You can tie that same fly in large sizes, in small sizes, and like you said, a lot of different colors. You could also
all of it's great, yeah.
You could also use cactus chenille or estes for that body, wrap that hackle in it the identical way, and that will work like a dream.
So here we have black woolly bugger. We've got our
indestructible
marabou. Indestructible black woolly bugger. We used black marabou for the tail. We've got black hackle, black chenille, and a gold bead. Okay, this wraps up another program, fun program. We had 4 flies on this show.
A bonus fly,
yes, we did. First fly we tied was a great fly, great name, Wilted Spinach. We had a Bloody Mary, which is another soft hackle fly.
Yep. With a bead head.
With a bead head, and we had a Midge Emerger and a woolly bugger, indestructible.
Indestructible.
Right.
And you know, I watched you tie the woolly bugger, and you do yours a little bit different than I do. You take a full marabou feather and pull sections off of it, strip sections off. I buy either the woolly bugger marabou or the blood marabou, which is a full feather. Then I tie that complete full feather in for the tail, whatever length you want to tie, but that way it will never pop, it will never break loose.
That's a good idea.
So that concludes the show. We thank you again for stopping by. Carol and I will be back next week with another list of fine, fun flies. And remember, save a worm's life, fly fish.
LeRoy and Carolyn have produced a 60-minute video demonstrating how to tie 10 of their favorite flies. Available on DVD number 28 for $18.95 plus shipping and handling. Programs from this series are also available on DVD. Each disc contains 2 programs and costs $18.95 plus shipping and handling. Please indicate disc number 23 for this episode. You can get the complete series of 13 programs for $89.95. Credit cards are accepted. To order, call 1-800-883-0124 or visit our website, kwsu.org. For more information about this program, please visit our website, kwsu.org.